What helps us be successful in our investigations are NSF's policies and certifications. We are fortunate that NSF has strong policy language and clear requirements that help us hold institutions accountable. NSF reviewers and program staff rely on accurate disclosures to make informed funding decisions. NSF also has certifications at various stages of a grant, each informing the individual that they are certifying on behalf of their organization, that they are complying with NSF's policies, and that they can be held responsible for providing false information to NSF. As a small OIG, we must use our resources wisely, so we utilize proactive reviews as a fraud detection tool. This means that we use red flags identified in our prior work to identify fraud before it comes to our attention through traditional hotline complaints. Where proactive reviews have been valuable for us is in identifying where to focus our efforts around foreign influence, which is one of our top investigative priorities. In past investigations, we found that universities were often aware of their faculty members' foreign funding and positions overseas, but did not disclose this information to NSF. For this reason, we have initiated proactive investigations into whether universities are disclosing this information to NSF as required. These cases take time to investigate, and our office and other OIGs are currently working on many cases using our investigative methodology. Today, I will share with you the results of 3 of our cases that have been completed. The first, we found that one university was in full compliance with NSF's disclosure requirements, while 2 others were not. For the 2 that were not in compliance, the cases were ultimately resolved with civil settlements under the False Claims Act. These settlements were announced publicly, and they had a deterrent effect, in that NSF was contacted afterwards by several universities that wanted to make sure that they understood the rules. Preventing fraud is one of our missions as an OIG, so hearing that institutions were reaching out to NSF to ensure that they were in compliance shows how our work is having an impact. For every dollar that's obtained through deception or otherwise misused is a dollar that could have supported a meritorious proposal. The true victims are the researchers, students, and institutions that competed fairly for these limited resources, only to see the funds diverted to individuals who obtained them through fraud. We will continue to rely on the False Claims Act as our primary tool for addressing fraud, and we will use the full range of our investigative authorities to safeguard the integrity of NSF's operations and its investments in the scientific enterprise. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak to you today, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Springman. I now recognize Mr. Steinow for 5 minutes to present his testimony.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman McCormick, Ranking Member Sykes, Chairman Babin, Ranking Member Lofgren, and members of the subcommittee. Thank you for inviting me to discuss NASA OIG's work combating grant fraud and safeguarding agency research funds. The topic of this hearing is more important than ever following the success of Artemis II. NASA is propelling Americans to the moon and beyond, and it's our charge as the agency's oversight authority to prevent fraudsters and foreign adversaries from undermining our competitive edge in space. The bottom line is this: safeguarding research security is nothing new for NASA OIG. Over decades, we've leveraged the False Claims Act, or FCA, to ensure federal resources are awarded fairly and responsibly. What has changed during this time is our approach. As our adversaries develop more sophisticated tactics, we evolved in kind, spearheading new deterrence initiatives, closing cybersecurity gaps, and developing tools for proactive fraud identification. My testimony today outlines our top 3 research oversight priorities, which are essential to preserving scientific integrity across NASA-funded programs. Our first priority is spearheading new, innovative strategies to combat rising research fraud. As NASA expands its partnerships, our oversight strategies must grow in tandem. Over the last decade, the agency's assistance obligations have exceeded $10 billion, and our research security caseload has increased 7-fold. I share these numbers to illustrate the sheer scale of the challenge NASA faces in protecting its resources. To rise to this challenge, we're reviewing ways to bolster our oversight capabilities, including the possibility of initiating site visits to those receiving NASA funds. In addition, The House Select Committee on China has called for a joint OIG-DOJ task force to examine research security risks. The DOJ is our longtime partner, and we look forward to working with them to continue targeting fraud schemes. Our second priority is safeguarding scientific data through strict cybersecurity enforcement. To spur discoveries, NASA is entrusting a growing network of contractors and grantees with access to government systems. At NASA OIG, our job is to ensure these individuals adhere to rigorous cybersecurity standards. Again, this charge is nothing new. In the 90s, we were one of the first OIGs to establish a dedicated cybercrimes unit. We were also one of the first to join DOJ's Civil Cyber Fraud Initiative. And in one recent case, a university agreed to pay $1.25 million to resolve allegations that violated the FCA by failing to comply with federal cybersecurity requirements. Finally, our third priority is maximizing recoveries through proactive investigations. It goes without saying that the earlier we can detect research security issues, the better. Timely oversight is paramount to intercepting fraud before bad actors can exploit NASA's weaknesses. That's why our office has initiated nearly 400 proactive projects in the last decade. The monetary impact totaled over $93 million, of which roughly $30 million was recovered for NASA. Our own intel analysts are also developing tools and partnering with NASA to identify researchers with potential ties to China. In sum, these three priorities serve a common purpose: to leverage the FCA and other oversight tools to recoup misspent and defrauded funds with urgency and precision. To ensure America wins the race back to the moon, we look forward to continuing to safeguard NASA through enhanced deterrence initiatives, strict cybersecurity enforcement, and proactive investigations. I welcome any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steinow. And I neglected to actually describe your title at the beginning. I apologize. Senior Official performing the duties of Inspector General, National Aeronautics and Space Administration Office of the Inspector General. Thank you. I thank the witnesses for their testimony, and I now recognize Chairman Babin for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you. I can get my mic on. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. There does seem to be some questions of jurisdiction of this committee. I did read this in my opening statement. I'm going to read another section. The SST committee has clear oversight responsibility for federal research and development programs, science funding, research integrity, and the protection of taxpayer dollars invested in scientific endeavors. Examining False Claims Act enforcement in the context of grant fraud, false certifications, foreign influence, and cyber security directly supports our jurisdiction over agencies such as NSF, NASA, DOE, and EPA science programs. Strong oversight of these issues is essential to safeguarding American innovation, national security, and the integrity of federally funded research, not an overreach,